Hello, you're dressed as a pirate today.
You may now come aboard. Ahoy there! The next crew will be set in sail in just 3 minutes. Ahoy! 40 scurvy sea dogs waiting to come into our pirate's keep. The next crew will set sail in just 2 minutes. Once inside, he will be guided through several rooms where you will see various torture devices and will tell you a bit about them. Please note, these are torture devices, not happy time fun toys. Some of the descriptions may bother our more sensitive guests. Parental guidance is suggested. Since the rooms in our dungeon are kinda small, each group can only hold up to 4 adults, or maybe 5 if some of them are children. So get your crew together, because in just a minute, the gate will be opening automagically, and we'll be starting our 3-hour tour.
A 3-hour tour.
Set sail in just 1 minute. Before your tour of our pirate's keep begins, we have a few simple instructions for you. First, food and drink is not allowed. Please finish all turkey legs before entering. Absolutely no smoking inside. We have found that open flames and kegs of rum do not mix. Please do not touch any of the artifacts or my booty. They be quite fragile and damage easily. Again, do not touch anything once inside. Break any of these rules and you'll be walking the plank. Although most dungeons are dark, we will light the way for you. So please follow the lights so you don't get lost. And be sure to stay within the roped path. And lastly, no flash photography. It ruins the experience for other guests. Please gather your crew together. You may now come aboard. Ahoy there! The next crew will be set in sail in just 3 minutes. Welcome to the Pirate's Keep, here inside Merrick Castle. This was once a terrible place to end up, but today we present it to ye as a historical look at a much darker time. Our 5-minute guided tour begins here, where you can see an example of a pillory. The pillory was a device used for public humiliation, corporal punishment, and torture. It was also a great place to keep your winches when they weren't in use.
Rah! Keep your winch! Keep your winch!
I'm down, Seamus. I'm giving a tour. Typically, a person condemned to the pillory was subjected to a variety of abuses, ranging from having refuse thrown at them to being stoned, whipped, and beaten. At the end of the hallway, you'll see our Iron Maiden.
Rah! I love that band!
The Iron Maiden was more of an instrument of execution than torture. This device enclosed the victims with spikes driven through their bodies. It was called the Iron Maiden because it was often styled after the Madonna or a favorite daughter. Please follow the lights and continue in to the next chamber. Here you see the chair of spikes as well as the rat.
Rah! Nice rat!
Shut your beak, Seamus. There could be children present.
Rah! What kind of parent would bring their kids to a dark torture chamber? Parent of the year! Parent of the year!
The purpose of the chair is fairly obvious. The victim is made to sit on the chair with the straps tightened to drive the spikes into his or her flesh. While quite painful, the chair itself was not immediately fatal. However, infection and tetanus claimed many victims days or weeks later. The rack was very popular. The victim's arms and legs were strapped to each end, and they were slowly stretched until the bones popped. Behind you is what is left of some of my crew that tried to get their greedy paws out of my cursed treasure. It may seem harsh, but remember, dead men tell no tales. Please continue to the start of the next hallway, stopping in front of the portrait.
Rah! $16 a ticket and we couldn't afford a drop in that room?
On the the wall, you will see a drawing of something very disturbing. The wheel.
Drawings are scary. Drawings are scary.
The giant spiked wheel was able to break bodies as it rolled forward, causing the most agonizing and drawn-out death. The victim would be tied to the execution dock, and the executioner would then smash every joint with the iron edge of the wheel and to give the victim a painful death. It would only take a few blows.
That's what he said.
Just ignore that stupid bird. Please continue around the corner and into the next chamber. In the corner, you will see some of the more gender-specific items of the tour. A device used specifically for men was called the crocodile iron. This iron was heated red hot and used to tear off the metal member.
Now when you say male member...
One of the devices used specifically for winches was the breast ripper. It was heated and clamped around the breast, and the metal teeth would dig through the tissue. With continuous pressure and twisting, they would rip the breast off. What a terrible waste of a perfectly good winch. On the next wall are some more tools of the trade. These devices were used in interrogation of captured prisoners. The first, on the far left, was similar to a pear. The item was heated and then shoved into the mouth of the victim, while the teeth are widened. Other orifices were used as well. The second is boots that were heated and strapped to the victims, while sharp wedges were shoved into the ankles.
I think I saw Lady Gaga wearing a pair of those once.
I hate that bird. And third, on the right, was your basic skinner. Its task was simple, to remove the flesh. And finally, we come to the Judas cradle. With hands tied overhead, the victim was positioned at the waist and repeatedly dropped and rocked or weighted down until the victim bled out and died. Some victims would hang on until they were nearly ripped in half.
That's one way to make a point.
I hate to leave you on such a disturbing final note, but this is a museum of torture after all. If you want to see the rest of the castle, come back and join us in October for the Haunted Scream Park. Thank you for joining me today. You may now return to shore.
Right this way, right this way. There's still time left to get a historically accurate Renaissance photo tag.
It's Pirate Friday, eye patch on your eye day. Everybody's looking for a pirate weekend. Pirate Friday, walk the plank on Friday. Everybody's looking for a pirate weekend. Pillage and plunder